And we're back. And ow, god damn, that mic is hot.
Hot mic, get your hot mics here.
Yeah, we're it's real hot here in the studio right now, and we got Wichita's finest Chris Beneke here with us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, it's real nice. Real nice.
Tell what's been going on.
Oh, not much, buddy. Just been enjoying a nice Keystone, you know?
I corrupted you on that, didn't I?
Yeah, we're working on sponsorship.
Yeah, I really. That would be great. That'd be great to have a sponsorship.
I don't feel like he has they have a studio anywhere yet, do they? I don't think they back a podcast yet. Could we be the first, like, Keystone?
Maybe that's a...
Welcome to the home of the Keystones, you know?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Send us Keith Stone.
Right.
Send him over, and we'll talk to him, see if he likes us, and then there we go.
Yeah. I listen. I think he's gonna like us.
Chris, you ever indulged in the Keystone?
Not much, no. I'm not a big fan. My dad loves them. Him and I used to indulge in the other blue cans. But, you know, there was that controversy. I stuck with him. He did not, and now, you know, he's a Keith Stone guy himself.
Yeah. Well, great minds think alike.
That's true. Anytime I'm on the same list as his dad, I'm feeling like I'm in the right spot.
Well, the main thing on my mind today is the PGA Championships this weekend. Chris, what do you think the odds are that somebody dies this year?
I'm assuming you're talking about at the PGA Championship or in general.
Because we're just saying as a whole, it's pretty good, actually.
I would say upwards of 99.9+% that somebody will die this year.
At the PGA Championship?
No.
What happened last year? Some guy got hit by a bus or something. Scotty was like, I got to get to my tee time.
Yeah, so there was a lot of traffic early in the morning. I think there was some rain maybe at the morning before that round had started at the PGA Championship last year. And there was a pedestrian or one of the people that were walking, I think, to the course or helping, I'm not sure, got struck by a bus that was moving people from like the parking lot to the grounds of the golf tournament. And he got struck and killed. A lot of the PGA players that were trying to get there before the rounds early that morning were trying to get through. And he had a vehicle that had some sort of marking on it. I can't remember. But he was trying to get through, and apparently he did something he shouldn't have and passed a cop when he wanted him to stop. And they pulled him over for, not stopping, I guess, when they said to stop. And he said that he didn't see them. And he ended up getting arrested for that, for trying to get through. It was a very odd deal.
He must have had a really, really good bail bondsman, because that sumbitch was teeing off at 3 hours later or something. Yeah,
luckily they get there like 3 hours or more before their tee time, so they can kind of, I guess, slowly get warmed up or whatever. So yeah, somehow he got arrested, taken to jail, and then taken back to the golf course before his normal tee time scheduled, which is insane to me.
See, that's where the difference between like me and like a professional would be. Because if I showed up 3 hours before my tee time, I'm not making it. Like, I'm gonna be somewhere passed out in a ditch somewhere. I'm not making it.
Yeah, and that, if I remember right, that was the Friday morning. I don't think that was the first round. I think that was the second round, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, that's. I remember when that was going on, and I was like, "What? Why is Scotty being held?"
I remember waking up, and it was like the biggest thing by far, obviously, because it was so weird to see a professional golfer arrested. And I don't know, remember Jeff Darlington, who was an NFL reporter, was there, I think just for ESPN, and he was like right 2 cars behind him and was able to get like his phone camera on all of it, and it was really interesting. Him kind of having that firsthand, experience right there. He was talking to some of the cops or whatever, and I remember waking up and watching that, and it was very bizarre.
Speaking of golf, what are your guys' opinions on the quality of how Happy Gilmore 2 will be?
It's going to be a letdown. I mean, the second always is, but we'll see.
I am expecting it to be maybe a total letdown, I don't know, but certainly not as good as the first movie. It's going to be more cameo-driven, more fun, not maybe as just classic '90s goofy, but more kind of just modern cameo goofy. Like, oh, here's this person. Oh, that's funny. And a little bit here and there. But the storyline itself, it's not like the original Happy Gilmore was some exquisite storyline by any means. But I would imagine this is not going to live up to that. Just good of a movie.
Do you think that Happy's still been on the pro tour between 1996 and 2025, or what do you think's been going on in his life?
I don't know. I guess he had to have been able to get on the Champions Tour by now, you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's what, 62, 63, something like that. So he'd have, over a decade on the Champions Tour. Surely if you can hit the ball 400 yards on the Champions Tour, you'd be making some good money.
Do you think Grandma's still alive in the universe of Happy Gilmore?
I have my doubts.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Like, even with all the cameos, it's going to be tough to beat the Price is Wrong, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, I don't know.
Well, that's a good point, because obviously Bob Barker was a huge cameo in that, and this is kind of extending more so around that, and that was a big, big part of that movie. So maybe that's the goal, that was big. Let's just make more cameos with more guys like Bob Barker.
Is it going to be, is it or Drew Carey now that does the Price is Right? He's going to play with him, and he punches him and says, Price is Wrong, bitch.
That would suck so bad.
I think what he would say was he gets him on the ground and goes, "Whose line is it now, bitch?"
There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I hope Charles Barkley's in that movie, too. Like, with his
That
real
would make
swing.
sense. That would make sense. Well, now it's not as fun to watch now that it's a little bit better.
Isn't Daly in it?
Yeah, I think he is. I had heard that. And the original Vanessa's, right? That's
Yeah.
Virginia, but not Vanessa. She's going to be in it, which I only see her on Modern Family recently, so I don't know what else she's been up to other than that. But
Yeah, it's unfortunate because if you think about it, think of all the greats that were in that movie that we've lost. We lost Carl Weathers. We lost Bob Barker. We lost Grandma. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
She's got to be, gone. God bless you, Grandma, but she ain't with us no more. She was 95 and 96.
Even if they wanted to it couldn't be the real same grandma. Like, even if they wanted to put her back in, there's no way, right?
And the biggest loss, the alligator that Happy killed died yesterday.
that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know that.
How old was he? Like 60 or 80 years old or something like
80,
that.
80 years
my
old.
God.
Well, maybe they got his scene in before.
That's-
Yeah, hopefully Happy still has his head mounted somewhere.
Something tells me maybe he wasn't quite as active this last year when they were recording.
Why doesn't this thing do anything? Just look at it. It's just rolling around.
Yeah, 79-year-old gator.
They're out there kicking it. Come on, do something.
It's got like one bite left in him, and it actually takes somebody's hand off.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler's out there. It's got to be this one. It's got to be this one.
Well, look, Adam, we got all these other gators that are just, no, it's got to be this one.
Like, everybody says he's like the nicest guy ever to work with, but that's like the one thing he like draws a line on. He's like, that's it. This is the only gator I'll work with.
He's like overly nostalgic. like, and you know what's funny is, my wife and I saw him live. It was like a comedy /musical performance or whatever. And he does seem like he's overly nostalgic, so it would not totally surprise me if he was that way. It would not totally surprise me.
Cancels the whole movie. They had like a 30-second scene left for that gator, and now that he's dead, he's like, nope, that's it. Scrap it.
Happy Gilmore 2 canceled after Adam Sandler has mental breakdown over Gator's death. And they're like, but Adam, you killed the gator in the first one. He's not even supposed to be in this one. It doesn't make any sense.
How am I supposed to go to my happy place without the gator there?
Somehow he made it.
Carl Weathers isn't here either. I don't care. I need the gator.
It was the wrong gator head. It was all a sham.
There was two of them with a missing eye.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Bryson DeChambeau isn't he gonna be in it? Like
Yeah,
a
I'm
bunch
pretty
of.
sure.
I mean, it could be really funny. I'm still gonna watch it, but I just hope that it goes the way of more like the Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison wedding singer type Adam Sandler movies, and not the way of the the Jack and Jill and that type of Adam Sandler. I hope we get the good Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
If we don't get the
I agree
Gator,
with that.
we have to get the good Adam Sandler. That's it.
I just hope they don't try too hard. Like, that seems like a lot of times where they, like, screw it up as they try too hard. Like, when the new Roadhouse they made, like, I thought that was going to be an alright movie, but they tried so hard to, like, fantasize the fighting scenes, and it was all AI, and it was, like, bad. It, like, ruined it for me.
Did you see that they're remaking Naked Gun? That Seth MacFarlane's remaking it with Liam Neeson playing
I have not seen that.
Leslie Nielsen's son, and the trailer actually looked pretty funny because they were all like sitting there like praying to their dads, And the last one was some guy and his dad from the Top Gun movies was OJ, and his picture's on the wall, and everyone's like, "I miss you so much, Dad," and the black guy's just looking at him like, "Nah."
Oh man.
Do you think they could redo Tropic Thunder with, like, the blackface in it?
No.
Do you think that would work now?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
And it's funny that they all like defend that so, proudly and sternly because Ben Stiller, you wouldn't necessarily think he would be that way, but Robert Downey Jr., I could definitely see that.
Right.
Him defending that to no end.
Right.
Dude, that movie, like, it was funny when I was 12 or 13 or whatever, but it was funny, like, the things that a 12 or 13-year-old would think is funny. Now you watch it, and you watch Robert Downey Jr.'s part, and you're like, God damn, this movie was so funny.
Yeah. I remember the when I watched it, and it was obviously getting kind of a lot of hype, and like you said, we were probably like 12 or 13 or something like that. And I was up in Kansas City. I don't know if there's anything in particular, but up there with my parents, and we were, staying at a hotel. And they went to go gamble for the night, and they're like, "You can get one movie," and I'm like, going through it, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be the one, is Tropic Thunder. And I remember watching that and being so mystified and confused and did not understand. It was just such a blob of confusion, the whole thing. But as you get older, you can kind of layer it out and can understand it more. But I remember at that age, it was like, wow, this is maybe a little bit too much.
I like when at the end when Tom Cruise is dancing, he's "Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that." He's like dancing and shit.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to see from Happy Gilmore 2.
Blackface?
Happy Gilmore 2, or Happy Gilmore is the character's name, He's about to tee off, and Hal, Ben Stiller, comes out, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Gilmore, fuck you." And then Robert Downey Jr. emerges from the crowd with his blackface and just blows Ben Stiller away.
As Chubbs' son. Chubbs' long-lost son.
And there's a round of applause from the gallery.
Little Chubb?
But it's Downey Jr.
Little Chubb.
Little Chubb. And then you jackass guy runs over him, so you lose Chubbs again.
Oh my God, that would be horrible.
John Daly's like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here."
As he's teeing off from some fucking beer can or something.
That's what he's got. He's got 12 golf balls lined up on beer cans. He just starts firing at them, and that's the end of the movie.
Credits. Like, each one's just like a credit. Like, the first one's like the director's name as it flies by, and then the next one is the...
Barefoot, cig in his mouth, teeing off on top of golf cans. End of the movie.
John Daly's obviously going to be the Richard Kiel character in this movie, isn't he? The Mr. Larson. When Shooter McGavin tries to steal the jacket again, yes, he's going to try to steal it again. I'm already calling it. And John Daly's going to be like, "Hey, I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's, bitch."
I hope so.
That would be the
great.
best part. Yeah, he's drinking a beer, and he's like, "Hey, that's Gilmore's. Hand me a ball." And somebody like flips him a ball and just sets his beer down and just tees off and hits him in the back of the noggin with
That's
it.
kind of what I'm imagining. Yeah.
That's the way I think it's gonna go down.
I believe it's Mr. Gilmore's.
Ball me.
And wouldn't maybe there's Paige Sporanic was going to be maybe in the movie. Maybe she tosses him, the beer cart girl tosses him a golf ball.
That's our job.
And John just sets a beer can down and just with that, whatever golf ball she throws him and just tees it up and jars him right in the back of the head.
Oh, and then you have Kramer in the background going, Was that a Titleist?
Yeah. Just the purest '90s movie. They're like, what? How many fucking '90s references are they gonna make in this movie? Bill Clinton's over there like, all right.
Just sitting behind his desk, like he's just sitting at a desk with like his thumb up.
That's what I was almost gonna about brought up earlier was, and I'm Seinfeld is the only other thing I've seen Grandma in. And maybe I'm an uncultured swine, but I haven't seen her in anything else besides she's in like 2 episodes of Seinfeld and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, because that's who he fights over the rye bread, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Shut up, you old bag.
Oh, yeah.
They're at the very end when they're like, she finally realizes that it's Jerry, and he's like, yeah, he was after my marbled rye.
Oh, yeah.
AP, Associated Press, Chief Superfan, Chiefsaholic, sentenced to 32 years in Oklahoma prison. Are you sad to see this guy go?
Absolutely not. He's an ambitious fellow, but
I mean, it was a hell of an idea.
You have to give him a little bit of respect for trying to pull it off and him doing it as long as he did. But my God, what a dumbass!
Where did they end up catching him at?
Oklahoma, I believe.
I want to say it was like
No.
Bigsby, Oklahoma. Like it wasn't a very big town. I cannot remember, but
You can't really find it because I was trying to look for this stuff and he robbed like 12 banks or some dumb shit.
I remember 2 years worth of road games, if I remember right.
I remember the off-season whenever the Chiefs traded away Tyreek Hill, and he was getting. It seemed like popular. I mean, he was been around, but he'd been getting really popular on Twitter and shit. Like right as the Chiefs said, kind of gotten that off-season trade away Tyreek Hill, and a lot. They weren't sure what to do. They had lost that last Super Bowl. And he made some ridiculous bet that was ridiculous only because Hill was going to be gone. That the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is going to win regular season MVP and Super Bowl MVP. And this was like, if I'm not mistaken, $100,000 bet that he put on this. Maybe that's not true. I can't remember. But he ended up making like over $1 million on this bet or something like that. And you're wondering, like, okay, like, that's just, who does that, Even if you're doing really well, and it was fishy just kind of seeing him on social media and kind of trying to picture who he was, because obviously he was under the mask or whatever. But that's just a fishy thing to do, and he's bragging about it on, everywhere, like, I made this bet. And he ended up, I believe ended up being arrested by the time that money got paid out. And then he got out on bail, and then he just had this money that he had won from that bet just sitting there in his account. And he was kind of able to, I think, kind of flee for a bit and kind of until they finally found him.
I saw that he robbed the same bank in Iowa twice.
That would...
Dude, how many...
Only a Chiefs fan, right?
Yeah. You know what would have been really funny is if he would have robbed... Like, he's the Chiefs-aholic wolf guy. It would have been really funny if he robbed all the banks dressed like a Raider. Like the Raiders guys.
Yeah.
That'd really throw him for a loop.
Like, Raiders bad.
Yeah.
Chiefs good.
Can't be that guy.
Yeah.
He's a Chiefs super fan.
He'd never dress up like a Raider.
Or like the next one, he dresses up like the Bronco. It's just like, there's a guy that's dressed up like AFC West rivals that's robbing all these banks, but it's never the Chiefs.
And I remember seeing like all the posts like after he got arrested of like the Chiefs fans that had like, oh, my kids just went and took a picture with him last week, and like they're like trying to make you feel bad for him, and really we're all just kind of laughing like yeah, that's actually funnier than it is sad, really.
Oh yeah.
We have a really good friend. Let's call him Colin. Was Colin upset when Chiefsaholic went to jail? Yeah. What did Colin think about Chiefsaholic going to jail? Because I'm pretty sure they were pretty tight buddies.
He was devastated. Absolutely devastated.
I feel like it was like a mixed emotion because now he finally knows who he is, but he
Yeah,
also
I know. He
lost
just
him.
kept on saying, he's like, you think you know a guy.
You think you know a guy in a
This
mask.
is the Chiefs organization is just going down the tubes. I mean, Pat Mahomes Sr. is going to box John Rocker somewhere. Didn't you see that?
Yeah.
What the hell,
You,
dude?
you saw that,
Yeah,
didn't
I
you?
saw that. There's no way they actually let him go through with that, right?
No.
Like, somebody's going to be like, no, this is a bad idea.
Well,
Or
he's
they're going to be
surely
like, drink a
even-
12-pack and get in there, bud.
Whatever little time that he's sober, surely he's smart enough to know that he's going to get his ass beat if that actually happens.
Right. Dude, I mean, just the Mahomes family all in one is just something of its own.
Yeah. Well,
They could, we
somehow
should have a reality show of just following them around. You know how good that would be? Like going to his brother's court case, his dad's court cases for DUI. Like what?
Well, you know what?
What
They
if
are
Judge
actually
Judy just got all their cases and it was all televised.
they are actually one of the more mysterious families in America because you have obviously, father's a professional athlete. That's good and well. That's obviously where his athletic genes maybe came from. Maybe mom's got some athleticism too. But think just personality-wise how they are. I don't know if you guys have seen like what Mahomes' mom kind of. She just seems like she's very loud, dramatic, and a lot like Jackson kind of is.
And so you're saying he married someone similar to his mother as well?
Well, that very well could be. But what I was first getting at is how did Patrick end up the way he seemingly is? Or is he hiding that side of him that you would think he would have, knowing the other 3 nuclear family members?
Right. Yeah, maybe there's a little like when he retires, there's gonna be like a 30 for 30, and it's gonna be like his kids will be like 20 years old or whatever, and they're gonna be like, that's not the Patty Mahomes that we knew.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
There's
like and by all accounts, he's like one of my favorite athletes. Like, if not my favorite athlete, but you kind of sometimes have to wonder, how did he seem to be the only normal one of the bunch?
Right. Yeah. How did he?
Well, he's not, Chris, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Chiefsaholic was put up to this, and I'm going to tell you who put him up to it. It was Pat and Brittany trying to skim a little off the top.
They took a percentage.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I mean, look, I'm not going to disclose my sources, but that's what I heard. Because I heard that there's audio of Pat talking to Chiefsaholic, Xavier Badura, or whatever his name is. He's going, "Hey, X, you got the money."
Yeah, I always wondered how to pronounce his name too. It's like Xavier Boubidar or something.
Boubidar, yeah.
Boubidar.
He's like, "Hey, X, you got that money."
Do you remember, Tucker, when we were at that Bills game, that 2023 playoff Bills game?
Yeah.
And we were right underneath them. And we're looking back up there, and she is just like, like spraying champagne all over all the crowd. Obviously, most people are loving it or whatever, but God, only be her, right? Like, can you imagine anybody else's wife would be doing that after a playoff win, just sitting there jumping around? Her and Jackson being a fucking nightmare up there.
We looked at Pat Sr. and we're like, "Thank you, Pat." And he saw us and he goes,
Yeah, he pointed back at us. I do remember that. No, that was cool.
And then he's gotten like 3 DUIs since then.
Yeah.
So I mean,
The fact that I had to miss that game because I was still at work when you guys left is probably
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the closest I've ever been to.
what
killing myself.
happened? You scalped that ticket or something? You had 4. Or maybe we just bought them. Did we just go up there and scalp them?
You had them because you offered to leave it in my mailbox, but I didn't get off work until like 5:30.
Yeah, tell him was
Honest to
gonna
God,
go.
I kind of forgot about that part of it. I don't remember what we ended up doing with that.
I don't remember because he did. Because I remember Tuck asked me that day if I wanted to go.
Because
Somehow, somebody canceled on you.
3 was an odd number to have, but yeah, I'm thinking about that. Like, yeah, we did have another one. I can't remember.
I don't remember how, but I just remember. And then I sat on the couch by myself,
Yeah, that's true.
and I watched that game. And then when it went into overtime, I was like, "Dude, I could have been there. What? If I'd have known what I know now, I was like, fuck, I'd have showed up in the second quarter. I'd have just fucking win."
You know what's funny is I always tell Tucker, is like, do you ever think about like how we were at like one of the greatest maybe football NFL games of all time, and he's always just like, what the fuck's it matter for? They lost the very next game and didn't get to the Super Bowl. It was a waste of money.
I don't think it was a waste of money, but I was like really disappointed because the Bengals weren't even good and they beat them. And then I just the best part of that whole night was when we were leaving, and I don't remember what, like the path was taken over or something. So Chris and Colin looked at me and they were like, dude, over the top. And you look down this fence between the parking lot and the stadium, and it's like Walking Dead. People are just like crawling over the fences trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then didn't that guy get killed? Like 2 months before that, some guy had done that. He'd like crawled over the fence, got hit by a car or something.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. I bet we didn't get out of the parking lot till overtime. Probably made it 11:30. We probably got out of the parking lot at 1. Yeah, I bet you it was at least 3.
We were trying to go to Power and Light. Remember that? Colin, you and me were sitting there. We were like, dude, it was like, let's go to Power and Light. And we got lost somewhere out in the middle of, where you don't want to be lost at in Kansas City.
Maybe I would have remembered to get gas.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Chris? I don't blame you because we shouldn't have stopped at any of those gas stations where we were.
No,
that's where those ones where it's like pay
no.
inside and then you come out and your Jeep's just sitting on blocks.
Yeah. They're good, man. They get it done in about 30 seconds.
Dude, one time I went to Nashville on a trip and running a little low on gas, and we get to like Memphis somewhere, and like the way the 4-lane runs there, it runs through the shitty part of fucking Memphis. Like there's not like a good place to get off. And I was like, finally, fuck it, I'm getting off, I got to get gas. I'm going to run out. I'm going to pull off, and I am not shitting you one bit. It was a little mom and pop gas station or whatever. It wasn't like a name brand thing. Pull in there, and there was a Suburban sitting on blocks with all the windows broke out of it.
Oh, my.
Like, up at the door. Like it probably happened the night before. Like, somebody pulled up there the night before and spent too long in there getting their beer or something. And I was like, holy shit. So I didn't leave the vehicle. Just, like, paid right there. Didn't go in, get a drink, nothing. I was
don't
like,
blame you.
Because, like, that's one of those places where, like, even if you come out before they get on blocks, somebody's standing there probably with a gun and was like, we're going to finish what we're doing. You're like, yeah, you're right. You are going to finish what you're doing.
I know you get there on, like, the wrong side of, like, Topeka and Emporia or around up in there, and, oh, man, it's... Yeah, you don't know what to expect there. I mean, you guys kind of last episode talking about El Dorado being a meth town. God, it almost seems like it's worse the more you get up that way.
Yeah, it's bad up there.
Yeah, I saw a meme today on Facebook. It was somebody going east on I-70, and it had 3 signs. It said St. Louis, straight ahead, Memphis, you turn right, and Chicago, you turn right. And the caption on it says, is there any possibility, any option to where I don't die?
Right. Yeah, that is...
Those are not good places to be. Or you can head down south to New Orleans.
Ooh, yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, the scariest place I've ever been, and I didn't even get off in it, didn't get out of the truck, East St. Louis, Illinois.
Yeah.
That is a bad, bad, bad place. That makes El Dorado look like the city of gold.
That's like when I lived in Springfield, it was getting really bad because all them wannabes that were getting shit on in St. Louis and stuff, they'd make the 3-hour move down to...
Oh, no kidding.
Down to Springfield, and they'd want to be the big fish in a little pond instead of this. Dude, like guys were getting shot. Like there was one, I was going to work, and you go by this gas station, it's all like roped off, like you can't get in this gas station at all. We're like, what the hell happened there? And he said, some cross gangbanger this morning tried to steal his crotch rocket while he was getting gas. So he like knocked a guy off. Like guy was standing there getting gas in his crotch rocket, and the guy walked up and hit him, and jumped on the bike. And before he got from like 10 feet down, that guy had a gun in his waistband and shot him like 4 times.
Oh, wow. I've been through Springfield a lot, but I've never been in there enough to see bad parts of it. Obviously, it's not surprising. But
that north side, north of 44, it's real bad up there.
There's a lot of dangerous cities out there, and you just got to know what to do. But I think the most dangerous city right now would have to be Kansas City, because of all the black bears that's been out there walking around. You seen that?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Saw that. They got some black bears up there.
They're kind of moving in, I guess.
Chris, what would you do if you get up in the middle of the night to go feed your cats and feed your dog, and you just hear something rooting around, and you're like, what is that? And it's a family of black bears living in your kitchen. What would you do?
Well, I mean, yeah, that scared the shit out of me, like it probably would for most people. But at least it's a black bear, grizzly bears, don't want to mess with them. Polar bears. Don't want to mess with them. So at least it's a
we
black
talked
bear.
about that
They
last
say
week.
they're the meanest motherfucker there is. That's what I hear.
I think polar bears are like the biggest ones, aren't they? They're like freaking huge.
Yeah, they're giant.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable how big they are.
What would you do, Tell, if it was like that raccoon in your house a few years ago? You get up in the middle of the night and you're like, well, what is my dog barking at? And it's a black bear just sitting in your kitchen.
Probably do the same thing, man. I just rope them, choke them out, and drag them outside. You know, I mean, I'm not going to shoot them in the house. Come on now. I don't want that blood or bullet hole or all that nonsense. But we'd tussle around a little bit. Just a black bear? Yeah. Grizzly bear? Probably going to go sleep at the neighbor's house. He can have it for the night.
My dad, he lives down there in Southwest Missouri, and he said that they see him quite a bit, down through there in Arkansas and the Ozarks, the black bears. There's a lot of them there, and typically the furthest north they'll come is like southern Missouri through there. But for some reason, I didn't really read the article, but they're really going up north. There's a lot of them. I mean, up there around Kansas City,
So, my wife's stepdad was just telling me about this the other day. They live in Florida, or at least for most of the year. And they're at their golf course that they're kind of a part of. They have, well, for one, this is Atlantic side, Florida. Not that really matters because I think they're kind of all over Florida anyway. But they've got a lot of bears kind of in the area. And there was one that just didn't even care about the people and started walking like by the pool, like back behind the bar. And they had to get all the kids out of the pool and get everybody into buildings and started watching. So everybody just starts watching this bear just kind of walk around the clubhouse there until it finally left the property. But I guess that thing hangs around there a little bit here and there. It's kind of the community bear.
Community bear.
Have you you've gone down there into Florida, and of course you've been more in like the nice part of Miami area. Have you ever seen some really crazy animals down there? Gators,
People.
Definitely crazy people. I've been airboat rides to the Everglades. I've seen lots of gators down there. They not necessarily any giant ones. I've never seen any just big gators, but yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff in Florida. Manatees. That was an interesting thing I've seen there. But yeah, I've seen gators. It's definitely more wildlife variety there than there is here. They kind of get a little bit of everything down there.
Do you see any of them iguanas?
Geckos, iguanas, yeah.
Isn't that a big problem down there? They got bounties on those
That
things?
and the snakes are a problem too because the snakes aren't native to that area. So, they just got people that let them go. But it just so happens that Florida is the perfect, climate and environment for pythons and anacondas. So they just run wild around there, and they just get loose, and the people are just like, oh, yeah, there he goes. He's gone. Next thing you know, you got a native population of anacondas and pythons in Florida.
There's old Sammy the Satan snake there, huh? There he goes again.
I would pay a lot of money to see Tell start a reality show where he's dressed up like the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers mascot, like he's got like the feather in his hat and shit, and he goes into the Everglades East Coast and hunts that shit.
Hey, listen, there's some guys make some serious money on that. I've seen the videos where there's like on those iguanas, it's like $50 one or something like that. If you take it into the division, the guys will go hunt them all day long, every day.
Yeah.
Same with them snakes. They got some money on them.
Uh-huh.
I think they pay like by the foot or
I
something.
know. If you kill them snakes, they're perfectly happy with that. They don't want them around.
Yeah, the thing I saw, I think they pay them by the foot. Like, I don't know the number, but it's like $20 a foot or something like that on the pythons that you kill.
That would be a hell of a deal.
Yeah, because they're big bastards.
If you get some of those that are 20 foot long, that would be a hell of a deal.
Hey, that's one day right there. That's worth the paycheck. You catch you at 20.
Yeah.
Dude, those people, and I'm sure they got laws down there, but those people that release those things, they're just like, I can't feed this thing anymore and release it. Those people should go fucking prison.
Yeah.
Fuck those people.
Dude.
Oh, it's too big. What'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah. What the fuck did you... It's a python. It's not a gardener snake that you buy. You bought a fucking python.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that they can't get enough meth heads down there that need a little fucking crack money that are down there fighting them bastards.
They need some
the
food.
Florida guy.
He
wants a little
plenty of
meth.
drugs
He's down there.
A little bit of everything down there.
Yeah, they got it all. But you know what I'm saying? I figured the meth heads would get them things. They put a bounty on them. Hey, that snake's worth $20 a foot. That's a lot of meth, man. Down there. Getting them.